This is the Women's Hockey Life Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Women's Hockey Life Podcast, where our goal is really just to empower, inspire women and girls in hockey. And how do we do that, you ask? It's literally by bringing on amazing guests to tell their stories. Like our guest today, Alannah McCready, who was a goalie at the University of Wisconsin, where she went on to win not one, but 2 national championships, okay, with the Badgers. She's clearly a winner in whatever she does. And what I'm most excited about to talk to her today is how she transitioned from this elite student athlete to a country music star and singing sensation. She's unbelievable. We'll hook up the links to all of her songs and everything else, but she basically moved from Atlanta to Nashville recently in the past year or two and has been working full-time as a singer and songwriter. She recently released a new single called Something Like That, which I'm obsessed with, and it's been on repeat since I first heard it. Alannah, you have no idea how excited I am to have you here with us today and have our guests hear your stories and just really dive into how you did what you did and where you ended up today. So welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me. Disregard all of my things. I just moved in. Just pretend.
We will forgive you. And if I did a little parameter of what's not parameter, but the panoramic of what's going on in my house, you would see kids' toys and everything else. So
yeah, I'm like, can I get one of those cool like Zoom backgrounds? Just like
oh, we should look into that, right? Absolutely. So you're down in Nashville right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just moved here. I've been here about 3 months now. But I just moved into my house 3 days ago. So
and she's organizing and the beautiful background. That's life. That's real life.
I wish I could just be like, everything is where it's supposed to be.
Where's that genie in the bottle, right?
I know. I'm like, I wish my dog had thumbs so she could help. It's like just a disaster.
Yeah. No, she's just chilling on the couch. You're not helping the dog right now. So this is all about you. I want to highlight you, what you're doing, everything else. Obviously you grew up in Minnesota, but tell everybody that's listening, watching, like, what was growing up in Minnesota like? How did you get started in hockey? Was it just natural because it's Minnesota? Let's hear the story.
I mean, it's a state of hockey. So, I mean, you get skates when you can walk, basically. You know, your skates are this big, first ones you get. But yeah, my dad played hockey in college at Mankato, and just like, it's just a thing. When you grow up in Minnesota, you play hockey. That's what you do. And whether it's summer or winter, you're on an ice rink, inside or outside. So, you know, growing up there, it's just always something I knew that I was going to do, me and my brother. But my mom is from Oklahoma. So she is like this whole other perspective of life. And she's, you know, Southern and country music and all this stuff. And so from the very beginning, I had both in my life. And, you know, growing up, I was the only person that was in choir and played a sport, which people thought was weird, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, and I don't think it really hit me probably until sophomore year-ish that I'm of high school that I'm like, I'm the only person who is doing both of these things, and this is weird. Like, there would be times where we'd have a really important game, and I'd have a choir concert, and I'd have to go in the morning and sing all of my soprano parts for all the songs for the concert just to get a grade for the concert to my choir director so I could play my game that night instead of going. It was a whole mess. And then, you know, my games in high school, I'd sing the national anthem in my equipment in the penalty box.
Of course you did.
And then go play the game. And all the away teams every single time would be like, why is the goalie and why are they giving the goalie a microphone? Like, what is going on? Why is she, what's happening? And so that was really fun, actually, because it's, I don't know, it's just like a cool thing. I feel like no one can really say that they
combined your two passions together.
Yeah, and like that was the only way I could see how to do it at the time. And I was like, however I can do both, I'm going to do both for as long as I possibly can. And then, you know, hockey obviously took me to Wisconsin, and, you know, then everyone in Minnesota hated me. All right.
Trade them. Yep.
But it's all right. and then a double whammy, I became a Packer fan, just like a whole mess. But so then, obviously I went to Wisconsin and did hockey there all 4 years. Is 4 most amazing years of my life. And we were pretty successful, I'd say, during those 4 years.
Wisconsin's good? Really? What? Yeah. You guys did well. You went to national championships. Like
we did all right.
Yeah.
And I know. And I remember one year, or my freshman year, we won and we beat Duluth. And then my sophomore year, we played Duluth again in the national championship game and lost to them. And I remember we were all standing there, we were all like, well, last year we did say we really wanted those mini trophies. Oh. Now we have them.
Yep.
Get the mini trophies instead of the watch or whatever it is.
You got them.
They're like, well, shouldn't have said that out loud, but
just gave you exactly what you asked for.
I know. They're like, you want mini trophies?
Here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah. But then you did it again.
Yeah. And then, in college, the whole singing before the game thing, that wasn't a thing anymore because it's very serious. So, it's a distraction. Yes. But we did have pregame rituals, at pregame meal and stuff. And for some reason, I always ended up having to sing for everybody at all the things. I'm like,
wait, what was the pregame ritual though? Like, what made you have to sing?
So I don't even know if we're supposed to like tell people that we did this, but don't tell anybody.
Okay, don't tell anybody about it. Yep.
So at the pregame skate, we do like a shootout.
Yes.
And whoever wins the shootout gets to pick someone to sing at the pregame meal. And so then it started getting to the point after, a year or so where if someone was getting down to like top 3 in the shootout, they would all come over to me and ask. They'd be like, if I win, is it okay if I pick you? Like, I know you did it last game and I know you did it the game before, but like, are you like cool? Is that okay? Guys, it's not that serious. And so
yes, I will say.
I was like, do we even need to do this anymore? Like, you guys ask me this every time. Like, just pick a song. I'm a human jukebox at this point. but it's fun because like that was just another little tiny thing that allowed me to like marry the 2 things that I love. So
okay, but I have to backtrack this for a second. I'm like, I'm putting myself in your shoes or one of your teammates' shoes, and I win the shootout. I'm going to pick somebody that's brutal at singing, and they have to get up and sing and make a fool of themselves.
You would think that would be the case.
No, but you're just that good. They're like, no, we actually want to enjoy our pregame meal. So like, let's have somebody who can actually sing.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, guys. I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't care. I don't know why you're like scared to ask me. Like, it's fun.
Like, this is my other passion. I love this.
Yeah, I love it.
Jeez. So then you come back, you win another national championship junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I went to the University of Connecticut, so very different, like more of a basketball school. We won national championships in basketball.
Yeah.
I went to UConn to try and help elevate their status to be, let's be national contenders. But you go to Wisconsin, Minnesota, like they have this history of winning, and you guys have the fan base. Like how many fans would be at every one of your games?
A lot. I mean, we had thousands. Yeah. And then we would do like a fill the bowl, where we tried to fill the entire lower bowl of Kohl Center.
Cool.
Which is awesome. And so we did that once a year. And so that was so fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, now they have their own arena, which is amazing. And obviously that went in after we all graduated.
That tends to happen. UConn's building a new rink.
And we were still there. Yeah. Like we were still there and they were starting to build it. We were like,
this sucks, but awesome for everybody else.
Yeah, we're like, well, you guys are gonna love it.
Yeah, but that atmosphere had to have been fun too. Like I'd never experienced that at UConn. We get a couple hundred fans. That was awesome. But to be able to play in front of thousands of people, like that's becoming, I guess, more and more of the norm. That's what we're striving for in women's hockey.
Yeah,
but
I love it.
For you to experience that,
like since we are in WCHA in Minnesota and all that kind of stuff. Like Minnesota has just thousands of fans at their games too. And so like even away games, we got to experience that, which is awesome. And I feel like it's bigger and bigger and bigger. And I feel like when we were younger, like, I mean, there was no girls teams when I was, elementary school, even part of high school. Like, there was no girls teams. So I mean, we all played with boys all the way up until there was a girls team that was available. I mean, I remember I had to switch there. A girls team became available and it was 16U, and I was only 12, but since there was a girls team available, I had to play on the girls team. So I was a 12-year-old goalie playing in 16U.
Yeah.
I'd rather go play with the boys, because I'm like, these people are, I mean, 12 and 16 is so different age-wise, especially for girls. And so it's like, I'm like, I don't know. Ooh.
I don't even know what they're talking about in the locker room.
Literally. And so now I'm just so glad that there has been so much growth and there's teams for all the ages, and they're, the standards are higher, and there's just like people are taking it more seriously and giving us opportunities and stuff like that. So
totally, it's a game changer again from when we grew up playing, and I played boys too until bantam or whatever, and there was some but it was like I ended up going to a prep school just to have a different opportunity, and it's so cool to see the growth of the game though, and I know it's only going to get better. But it's actually funny because you and I have a friend in common. Speaking of, I'm like, I went to a prep school, and the prep school I went to was Taft. Yeah. And that's where my teammate was Emily Morris, and love her. We still stay in touch. She's a gem, like a true kind-hearted soul. I just love her. And when I found out that you played at Wisconsin, like the first thing I did was text Morris, and I was like, like, who is this Alannah McCready? Like, because I got the email, and I'm like, country music and hockey. I'm like, how does this Cortland? I was like, oh, she played at Wisconsin. I'm like, this is cool. And she's like, literally all she wrote back, she goes, cookie. And I'm like, she eats cookies? Like, what do you mean? She's like, no, that's her nickname. So I'm like, okay, there's a story behind this one. Like, where did that come from? Your nickname in college was Cookie. Why?
Literally on my equipment. So the year before I got to Wisconsin, so my senior year of high school, that was the year that the men and women both won the national championship.
Got it.
For Wisconsin. And so my mom, so this is all my mom's fault. No, it's all my mom's fault.
Love mom.
My mom sent because I had already signed and committed and stuff. And so my mom sent these cookies that were like these intricate cookies, like in the shape of the hockey players, with like their jerseys and the numbers, and like this huge bouquet of these crazy detailed cookies to the team, being like, congratulations, Alannah's so excited to come and, be a part of the team next year.
This is awesome.
I'm like, so I get there, and everyone there was calling me Cookie, and I'm like, why are they calling? I had no clue. Why are you guys?
You didn't know she sent them?
No, I didn't know that they had decided that was gonna be my nickname. I guess when they got them, all the girls were like, we don't care who this person is. We have no idea who this person is. We've never met her. Don't know what she looks like. Nothing. When she gets here, her name's Cookie.
I love it.
Before I even existed.
Yeah. What is your real name? What is your real name? I don't know.
I don't, honestly, to this day, I feel like some of the girls really might not even actually know. And so I get there, and they all start calling me Cookie, and I'm like, why is everyone calling me Cookie? And it was actually M and Mickelson. And they were like, well, that's your nickname. I'm like,
but why?
And they're like, well, the cookies your mom sent. I was like,
pick up the phone, Mom.
Something that I get to, am I getting out of this at any point? They're like, no way. So then my mom ended up having to send them every year. It's like a thing, turned into a thing. And it was like casual at first, but then it turned into all forms of it. Cook-a-look, cook-alicious, cook dog, all like.
Well, you've got to add a singer name to it, right? Like,
yeah, there's got to be a nickname for my nickname, apparently. Yeah. And so then the day that Mark called me Cookie during practice was the day I knew it was that was the end for me. Like it was never going away.
So when you connect with teammates now, do they still call you Cookie?
1000%. Our group chat.
Yeah.
Even people like comments on Instagram and stuff, they'd be like, Cook Dog, so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure everyone else on my Instagram is like,
what? But that's the fun part too of hockey is like you get nicknames, you don't get a choice in it, and you build these friendships and it lives on long after 4 years.
Oh, I know Emily and Mickelson are so proud of themselves that they
came up with that.
Yeah, and that it stuck so unbelievably hard.
Yeah, there was no choice, like you said.
Like, by junior year, it was on my equipment. Like I have Cookie on the side of my pads with an actual chalk chip cookie embroidered into one of the O's on my pads.
That's amazing though. Like it was fully embraced by everybody.
As soon as the coaching staff did it, I was like, oh, well, here we are.
I always joke with like young kids getting into hockey, like even my nephews and nieces are young, and I'm like, if they pursue hockey and they keep going, they're never going to be called their real name again. Like my brother was nicknamed Hawk in university, and a lot of his buddies call him that. Like that's how I'm known, Hawk. My dad was known as that. Like it's just like, what's my real name? I don't know. It's on my birth certificate somewhere.
And I mean, I get it. I have a long name, and then no one ever pronounces it correctly, and it's a little bit weird. So I mean, fine. I'll take it. But the best is when my friend, like after college, friends I made after college, and they would either come back to Wisconsin to visit with me or whatever, and we would see teammates, and they'd be like, Cook, and I, it's not some, just like a casual conversation piece I offer up to people now that I meet, like, oh, by the way, my nickname in college was Cookie, like I have to tell the whole story, otherwise they're like, Cookie?
You're kind of weird.
They're like, do we want to know why I was Cookie? You know what I mean? Like, and so they call me that, and I'm like, guys, just don't worry about it. They're like, no, why? Why are they calling you? Like, why are people in this city only calling you that?
You had a past life here. What was that?
Like, who were you? Like, what?
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Well, I knew I had to call you out on it when Morris M told me that. So I was like, no, we're gonna get to the bottom.
When she texted you that, when she texted you Cookie, you were probably like, what?
Literally, I was like, honestly, I'm like, does she like cookies? Does she want me to make her cookies? I'm not a good chef, but like I can buy it from the store and throw it in the oven. I'm good. No, it's awesome. I love that. And I love how you've been able to like marry the two passions together. So I want to dive in now to, let's talk more about that other passion, which is singing. And clearly you have an amazing voice, but I sing not very well, but I love to sing. My twins know that like we always listen to music in the car, but like, when did you know, when you had that first, like, wow, I might actually be good at this? Were you young? Was it in your adult life? Like there had to have been that moment where someone told you, or you realized?
I was definitely young. I mean, obviously my parents, and I'm like, listen, you guys are biased. Like, I don't really believe you. But I was definitely younger. And I mean, ever since I could talk, my parents said I was making up songs and, just putting on concerts in our living room for people. But then once I got to, like elementary school and middle school, I started doing musicals and choir and like the specialty choirs and, stuff like that, like the things you have to audition for and all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like that's when I sort of got the feeling of I'm good at this. And I love doing this. I love performing. When I was doing musicals is when I was kind of like being on stage feels right.
Really?
And it's like a weird feeling. So, some people are like, oh, people are watching, and so when I would do that, I'm like, this is a rush for me. This makes me so happy. This makes me feel so good. Like, I love doing this. And then obviously it transitioned into just singing. But I feel like I always knew from that point, especially high school, that eventually I wanted it to be my career. And I would go to concerts and be like, I think I can do that. To like tell my parents, like, I think I could probably do that. I think I'd be good at that, which is funny because it's the same thing I did with goaltending when I was 10, I did a camp and had like 3 shots. It was my turn to play goalie, and I stopped all 3 of them. I got off the ice and told my dad, I'm like, I'm really good at that, Dad. I think I should be a goalie. And they were like, all right.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it turned out pretty good. So, but and you know, in high school and stuff, I'm doing the musicals and all this stuff, and I'm like, you know, I think I could do that. Like, I think that I'd be really good at that, and I think I would love to do that every day. And you know, and then in college, you know, as you well know, and all athletes know, it's like having a full-time job playing a sport in college, you know, and so I sort of not put music on the back burner, but was not doing any performing or stuff like that. It was more journaling and, you know, trying to get my creativity out that way, which little did I know at the time was basically songwriting. And, you know, so some of those things that I was journaling and all that stuff throughout college culminated and turned into eventually, you know, a lot of the songs on my first 2 albums. And so I thought that was cool that I was able to still continue in some way doing it. But then after college, I got an opportunity to come down to Nashville actually and work with a publisher down here, producer down here, and recorded for the first time professionally. And afterwards, I sat him down and I was like, listen, I want to do this for a living. I think I should be doing it. I might be biased, but you're not biased. You get nothing out of lying to me. So I just straight up asked him, I was like, do you think I could do this for a living? Do you think I could do this as a career? Do you think I should? And he said, yeah. And I was like, done. Yeah. So quit my job. And I've been doing, that was 2012, and I've been doing it full time ever since. And yeah, we're however many years it's been, what, 10 years? Yeah. 10 years, 2 albums, about to be 2.5 albums in. And I mean, I don't even know how many shows at this point, but it's, I mean, I can't picture myself doing anything else.
No, and that's why I have to ask, like, again, I'm naive. I don't know the music world too well, other than listening to it. But for you, like, what's the end goal? Do you want to be the next Carrie Underwood? Do you love doing what you're doing, playing gigs on Broadway in Nashville and bars and coffee shops, whatever? Like, what's the end goal for you with this new, it's not a new passion, but this new avenue that you've gone down?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm living a second life already. Like, I feel like after college, I started over. Yeah. And I'm super grateful that I was able to do that, because not a lot of people get the opportunity or have the support to make such a change like that. And just have everyone be so on board and supportive. And so it's the end goal, obviously, I mean, being the next Carrie Underwood is obviously, who doesn't want to be?
Let's do that. I want to be, but
But I feel like there's such a stigma in the singer-songwriter or being an independent artist of where the mark is to say that you're successful.
Thank you.
And the mark is wherever you feel the mark is. And for me, I am living solely on being a singer-songwriter and make a living and, you know, do it full time. And I'm able to make a living doing that. And that might not be my end goal, but there are people that wish they were in my position. And so it's just kind of like wherever you feel you fit into this industry. And I just feel like, to me, being successful in this industry is being able to support yourself fully with your music, because large majority of people in this industry have 2 jobs.
So that's what I was going to ask you next is, like, what do you define success as? Because like you just said, there's like, I have a lot of friends that are singers, songwriters, and they are working 2-3 jobs to try and make it, and they're not there, and you're already doing it. And you just moved into a new place. Like
Yeah.
you're able to support yourself, and you've been doing that for so long. And I think like kind of correlating it back to hockey too, is like you played at that elite level, which so many people would have killed to have been in your shoes. Even if you're a third string goalie or in and out of the lineup as a defenseman forward, like to be a part of that is awesome. And for me, like I wanted to play on Team Canada. I wanted to be in the Olympics. That was my goal. I'm doing it. And I got cut. Right. So like my goals then changed, but I'm like, but I was one of the 40 best female.
There are people that wish that they would have gotten cut.
Yeah.
There are people that wish they would have been in a position to get cut.
Exactly. So that's where I was like, okay, sweet. But like it then led me down a different path that I knew nothing about. That's now led me to create this business. And now we can help and impact and inspire and motivate all these other people. And I'm like, if I was still playing, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And I'm like, Casey Bellamy just retired today. And I played with her on the Boston Blades. She's amazing. She's such a gem. But I'm like, she's retiring now. We're around the same age. And I'm like, if I was as good as she was, I would be doing what she's doing, but then I wouldn't have this business and being able to help other people. So I'm like, it's again, what's your definition of success? And trusting that if what you think is happiness or success doesn't work out, trust that what is meant to happen is going to happen. And you're going to be led down this path that's even better. And like for you, like you have this second opportunity at a different career. Like I love the similarities too between hockey and songwriting and singing. And that's kind of like another question I wanted to ask you was, you know, the athlete mentality, you know, transitioning to your current business. Like, I know you said you didn't put out songs in college because we all know it's a full-time job. Did you have time to breathe other than eat, sleep, play hockey? No, right? But you took this leap of faith post-hockey and you moved to Nashville. You took the risk. Like, how can you encourage other people to take that risk and do the same thing?
So basically, yeah, I'm super lucky to be able to have this sort of second path. And I wouldn't even consider it a second path. I would just consider it a little veer off of my path, because this whole thing is my path, you know, going from hockey to this is my path. And I feel like if you have the opportunity to do so, and if you're in a situation, or if you're in a part of your life when you're like, I really feel like I should be doing this, then, you know, do it. Why not? You know, you're clearly not feeling fulfilled with what you're doing. And if you think something else is going to do that, why not try it? At least try it. You know, I gave myself, when I don't tell people this a lot, but, you know, when I decided to do this full time, I gave myself 5 years to see if it was going to be something that I could do professionally and sustain and support myself and things like that, you know. And I was like, okay, at the 5-year mark, I will reevaluate and see if, you know, obviously I'm still going to love it, but I want to reevaluate and see if, you know, if this is something that I can sustain for however long in my life. And, you know, I got to the 5-year mark and I didn't even realize it had been 5 years. And so at that point I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is, you know, I'm supporting myself. I'm you know, I'm doing it. I'm doing what a lot of people wish they could do in this industry. And back to like feeling successful, like I feel like that is success for me, is being able to do what I love every single day and be able to sustain the lifestyle that I want to live by doing what I love. I mean, I don't know what else constitutes success but that, in my opinion. But I just have to remind people that this, especially our industry, music industry, is such a roller coaster. It is, you are here one day, literally the next day you could be down here. And I think the hardest part is staying mentally tough through all of those. And that is one thing that I always tell people who want to be an independent artist or get into this industry, is you have to be prepared for no. You have to be prepared for negative. You have to be prepared for people to tell you you're not good enough, or that you should be doing this, or you should be doing this. But you need to remember that it's a roller coaster and it's also a marathon. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. And I think just staying true to yourself. I think the best advice I got from someone else was, don't ever let someone in this industry tell you who you should be to be successful in this industry, because there are so many places for everyone, and you don't have to be in a box that people tell you is the box you should be in to be successful. Like, I do country music, I write and sing country music, it's my life. No one ever guesses when they meet me that I do country music. I don't know why. I don't care why. But I know that there is room for the kind of country music that I make in this industry, and I'm not going to switch and do something else just because it might, turn me into Carrie Underwood sooner, I guess, if that makes sense.
Well, Alannah, like, I'm literally like, I put my hands on my head earlier when you were talking, because I'm like, you could be on my calls when I talk to families, when I'm trying to help players like you and I, when we were younger, to go through this recruiting process, right? So we have this branch of our business called WHL Academy. And I literally say that to the players. I'm like, don't change your style. Don't change your game. Don't try and fit into this box because you think a coach wants a 30+ point getter. Yeah, they want the superstar, but they also want role players who can do PK and have a regular shift and shut down the second and first lines and all this stuff. And literally, as you're talking, I'm like, this is everything I try and tell these kids. And when I say it, I'm talking about hockey.
So.
Yeah, but that's just it. I talk hockey when we're talking because that's relevant for the academy, what we do with them. I'm like, but this is a life lesson, and it's exactly what you just said. It's, don't fit a mold if that's not who you are. Like, there was a local artist here who's actually a singer that was on the American Idol version of Canada, and she won with this other guy, and she went out to Hollywood and did all this stuff, but she ended up coming back because she's like, they were trying to put me in a box, and I'm like, I was not into the pop doing this, that, and that wasn't me. And she left these multi-million-dollar contracts and everything else because she's like, it wasn't true and authentic to her. And I respect her so much for doing that. But I'm like, that's like literally what you just said is everything. So thank you for reiterating that and saying it, because you're having success and you're able to support yourself because you're staying true to who you are.
Yeah. And I feel like, and you talk about how it goes across, from hockey or sports into music or whatever other industry. And it's crazy because I honestly don't think I would be in the position that I am in right now in my career and in my industry if I didn't have the other. Like, growing up being disciplined in a sport and, playing it at its highest level, and having to be disciplined and mentally tough and like all of those things, I use all of those every single day in what I do now, because as an independent artist, no one can want it more than I want it. And nobody's going to do it for me. It's just me. And so I think about it all the time. I'm like, even when I go to the gym, I'm like, there's no group training anymore. There's no, all of that stuff, but how it's so burned into my brain of like, I have to make a routine for myself. I have to do certain things every day because this is my goal. I have to do all of these things. And I honestly don't know how people who are in my position do this without that like previous mindset. It's like, because it's crazy. I think about it all the time.
So, and I mean, okay, yes, mindset, everything, hockey, I get it. But I've never been a goalie, but I mean, we had Shannon Zabados on an episode a couple episodes ago. And we talked a lot about that. Like, you have all of the pressure on your shoulders. You're the last line of defense. When it goes in, you probably feel like crap, even though it went through 5 other people before you, but you're the last line of defense, right?
Don't forget that.
Yeah. So, but I think you've just alluded to it in this, what you're just talking about, but like, I can't help but think that you would have gone, like, would you have gone through this experience pursuing music, even though I know it's your passion, but like, do you think you would have gone out to chase this other dream to be an artist if you didn't already know what that pressure felt like?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because it is funny, because as a goalie, you are the last line of defense. You know, you're on a team, but you're by yourself. And I kind of compare that to when I'm playing shows. You know, I have my whole band, so I'm not by myself on stage, but it's me. Like, it's my name. You know, if something happens, it's on me. If, you know, all of that stuff, it's all on me. And my parents have told me my whole life, they're like, we don't understand how you thrive on, like, we don't understand why you love that. And I'm like, I don't know. I love it. I like being under pressure. I like having things on the line and having to, you know, do whatever it takes to succeed. And I feel like having that mentality of being like, okay, well, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. Or if I fail, I let down all these other people, or all of those kind of things that you think of. And now I'm like, okay, well, if I don't write these songs, no one's gonna write them for me. You know, if I don't want to play a show that night, the show doesn't happen. My band doesn't get paid. You know what I mean? So it's all on me, and it's a very similar situation. And I think it's funny, all the times I think about how similar it is, even though it could not be more polar opposite. I think about how similar it is. And even the rush of like playing a show and being on stage is easily comparable to like a 2-on-1 or you know, a breakaway or something. That feeling that as a goalie that you get after you succeed in that type of moment is the same exact feeling that I get when I play a live show.
I love that.
And so like I said, I think about it all the time, about how it's so similar but could not be more different. Like, it's crazy.
And that's the thing I love about sports and artists and, you know, actors, actresses, anybody that's trying to create or, you know, be a part of a team. Like, there's always a team. Like you said, yes, you're the face, your name's out there, but you have a team behind you, right? So it's different, but the same. And I'm like, it all comes back to the mentality of the leader, of the, you know, even your bandmates. Like, if someone doesn't show up and they miss a note, you're like, dude, what are you doing?
It all falls apart.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's still there, but I don't know. I'm so excited that you're on here and that we're talking about this and doing everything, because I love your music. And I have to be honest, like, I hadn't heard of you. And then when I listened to you, I was like, how have I not heard of you? Like, that was my biggest thing. I'm like, how can I help you? How can we get you out there? Because I'm like, one, I know you're a good person because you're friends with my friend who's an awesome person. So right away off the bat, like, all right, you're legit, but you can sing.
Oh,
like, you can sing. So I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Oh, no.
You can say no if you want. It's okay. But we're going to link your songs and everything in this podcast and everything else. But I'm like, I just need our listeners, our viewers, to hear your voice. Are you open to just singing a little bit of your new release?
Well, sure.
Oh, thanks. I was hoping you'd say yes. I didn't know if you could like, warm up or what, but
not. I can't believe you just asked me that.
Who are you?
Why would you ask me to sing?
It's like you asking me to go show you how to do a trick shot. I'd be like, yeah, sure, but you gotta set something up. Like, at least you can sing, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I'll do we'll do a little of something like that, I guess.
Yes.
This is new. Maybe the chorus ish.
I love that you say, so I know what a chorus is, but I'm like, if you were to have said something else, I'd be like, sure, whatever that means.
The chorus or the hook, it's the same thing.
Okay. I love the chorus. I do love the hook.
Actually, one of my producers that was with my last album, he used to say all the time when we were songwriting, he used to be like, don't bore us, get to the chorus.
Oh, that's a good one. So I have to say, before you do start singing, like I've literally been playing that song on repeat because I love it and I'm obsessed and I think I know all the words already. But when I take my kids to daycare or school every other day now, because we're in lockdown still here in Ottawa, but they're like, oh, this is mommy's jam. Like, it's mommy's jam. They know that your song is my jam. And I'm like, sweet. So I'll stop talking. I'll let you sing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the chorus of something like that. All I want is a little more conversation. All I need is for you to not have me waiting. Had bad luck with men that lie. Just give me your time. Boy, a love like that, that's where I'm at. Or something like that.
I was lip singing, so it made it look like I was singing.
Oh, I can't wait to watch this back and see you lip syncing.
That was actually me singing, guys. It was not Alannah. Like, that was me.
Oh my gosh, my friends do that to me all the time on Snapchat. They're like, you sing off the screen and we're gonna lip sync and pretend like
Oh, I love that. That's the best way to do it. You have an unbelievable voice, and I hope everybody listening goes and downloads your song, and we do everything and help promote you, because it's like the hockey connection, the singing, everything else. It's unbelievable. And so for you right now in Nashville, like, are you guys, I didn't even ask, are you guys open? Like, you have to wear masks? Because you're okay.
I don't know what lockdown means.
Gotcha. Well, I'm in it, so if you want to know, you can ask me. We just got extended a little bit longer, but
I moved from Atlanta to here, and so I mean, there's all these memes going around. We're like, lockdown? Don't know where. Like, it's like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna live vicariously through you. So
everything as of the 14th, there's no mandates here at all.
It's like you live in like a different universe right now. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. And I went to Publix yesterday with no mask, and I was like,
I am not going to know what to do when I can do that.
It was a little weird, actually.
Right?
It was a little weird. I was walking around, I felt a little like, I don't know.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
I'm like, put a GoPro on your head and send it to me. I'll just live vicariously through you.
No, and all the people, it's like everyone who wasn't in masks in the Publix, because you don't have to wear them here anymore. But everyone that wasn't in them would feel like we were all looking at each other like.
I love that. So then you're obviously singing bars, coffee shops, wherever, like you're on Broadway as well.
Yes.
Doing it all. And like, how many nights a week are you doing this?
Well, I've been moving in for the last few days, so I took some time off, but starting probably next week, it'll be a lot of nights.
So is that, so like basically your work day starts what, like 4 p.m. until what, 3 a.m. or something?
Like 8 p.m. to 3 a.m.
So it's more, okay. I didn't know if there was prep, or again, this is my naivety.
Well, yeah, it starts at 10. So we play from 10 to 2:30. So
can you tell I'm a mom of almost 5-year-old twins and haven't been out past 9?
I mean, I honestly feel like my entire life is like of everyone else.
Yeah.
Like it's, I get home at 3:30ish, and yeah, it's aggressive. But like I'm used to it at this point.
Well, that's just it. You're a night shift worker. Like one of my friends is a nurse, and she works the night shift and gets home at 7 a.m. and sleeps until she has to go back in, like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. And I don't set alarms either, because, well, I mean,
how do you do it?
I have to do, but I don't set alarms because otherwise I'll never catch up.
No. Let your body wake you up when it's ready.
Yeah. I'm
with you on that. Totally.
Yeah. It's very different than college, when we have to be, in the weight room at 5:30.
Like, you want me to do what at 5:30?
To squat 200 pounds at 5:30.
Like, if you actually like think back of like your college career and the stuff that we did, like, I'm like, oh, and now I'm like, you want me to go to the gym? What do you want me to do? I'm like, wait, what? I mean, we're in a lockdown, so we can't, but
I'm like, cartilage? What is that? Joints? What? My knees are like, help.
Right? You want me to run? No. I still remember there was one time in
crunch every time.
What's that? Sorry?
My knees would be like crunch, crunch, crunch.
Everything crunches. I think we have bodies of like 60-year-olds at this point.
I know my best friend calls me Snap Crackle Pop. She calls me Rice Krispie treat.
You've got a lot of nicknames with the desserts, you know?
I don't even like that.
I love it. Like, I don't even like desserts. And I got cookies, Snap, Crackle, Pop. I'm a Rice Krispie. Like,
I'm a salty snack kind of girl. Like,
I love that. I love that. Yeah, no, college was a crazy time, but like, it obviously set us both up for our version of success and what we're doing. And I mean, I know the lessons the game has taught me, but for you, like, what's been the biggest lesson the game of hockey has taught you that is, I guess, essentially helped shape your music career? I know we've talked about a couple different things, but if like, what was like the one biggest thing that the game taught you?
so I think aside from the work ethic, because it doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you don't have work ethic, you won't go anywhere. But aside from that, I think it goes back to how I said it's like, my industry is like a roller coaster. When you're a goalie and you're playing and you let a goal in, so my kind of like motto my entire career was, if you let a goal in, it doesn't matter. The score goes back to 0-0 in your mind. So, it could be 2-0 or 2-1, but in my head it's 0-0. So if I let another one in, we lose. So I feel like I do that now in my career because I try to compare it to the roller coaster thing where I'm like, okay, that kind of sucked. Whatever that situation was kind of sucked. Blank slate, back to 0. Only could go get better. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I use the most now. And also kind of keeping in mind, pretending like, we're up 5-0, but remembering that anything can happen. So like you could be up 5-0, but you can still lose the game. You don't, it takes 1 second to score a goal. So I feel like just kind of keeping those different things in mind helps me keep perspective in what I'm doing, and kind of keeps me more even keeled, because as a goalie too, I'm very
You have to be.
my emotion, I'm not all over the place. And I feel like that really helps, because something good can happen. You can be through the roof, and then the next day it's like, so I don't know. I feel like that mentality from the game and having to recover from bad things happening in a game, or stay mentally strong. If I get one shot, it doesn't mean in the game, it doesn't mean that I can shut down, and so I feel like keeping those different mental notes helps me now stay just like mentally tough and be able to navigate situations, good and bad.
So I love that you said that too, because I'm like, I feel like goalies, as much as the position can suck in the sense of it's all on your shoulders, but if you are able to master that mindset piece of staying even keeled, staying grounded, and not getting too high, not getting too low, like that is a life skill that's going to set you up literally for life. Like with what you're doing, if you go into sales, you get one, you lose 7, you get one, you lose 15. Like you got to stay even keeled and not get too high, not get too low. Right.
Yep.
I think that's why you're having success in part. I mean, obviously you've got a great voice too, but, but it's that training is just, I think, helped a lot. And okay, like it's rebound start tomorrow.
Yeah. And also just like, sing through it. Cause when in games, my teammates probably the only ones that know this, but I just would just stand back there and just sing in my helmet and just make up songs.
Wait, songs like original songs or songs about the other team, the other players? Like, are you chirping them?
Literally anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Sing in my helmet, and
leave it at that.
Interesting on games when there was mics back there, so I forgot about those a few times. So.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing! I would love the outtakes from that.
Oh,
love that! Oh my gosh. Well, before we wrap things up, it's kind of our go-to question, and something that I'm intrigued to hear the answer from you. But if you could go back to when you were a little girl, choir, hockey, everything, and tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
Oh, man, I think just like do it.
Just do it.
Literally just do it, because I remember I had all of these like things I wanted to do and thoughts and all these things. And if I didn't, I always had the mentality of like, do it. Why not? You know, what could be the worst thing that could happen? You know, the worst thing that could happen is I could fail or someone could say no. My life's not over at that point. I'll do something else, you know? And so I think just reminding my younger self to do everything. Like, don't shy away from it. Don't be afraid of it. Just do all the things. If you think that's something that's going to make you happy, do it. And I think and a lot of that is my parents too, supporting me this entire, like my whole life. I mean, that's something that you can't even, I mean, I'm so lucky. You know, they were like, you stop 2 shots, you think you want to be a goalie? Okay, great. Let's find you the best camps. Let's find you the best, you know, all this kind of stuff. And then, oh, you want to be a country singer? Okay, great. Let's find you the best people we can find for you to work with, all this stuff. And that's something that you can't do yourself, is have a family that supports you and a support system like friends and family. I definitely do not think that I would be where I am without that in any way, shape, or form. No way.
And you probably would have got rejected by Wisconsin if your mom didn't send those cookies. So you got to give her props for that, you know?
So it's like she gets a pass, but like, I mean, I guess I'm thankful it was cookies and not, you know, I don't even, something.
Who knows?
I don't know. Like, I'm just like glad that it was something that's like decently cute, I guess.
Awesome. It was awesome. And I think that's great advice, and you're clearly living by that motto too. So whether that was instilled by your parents or it was ingrained in you, or that's just a part of your DNA, it's inspiring, it's motivating. How do we find you? Social media. Let's hear them.
So it's Alannah McCready music everywhere across the board. Made it as simple as possible. And so it's Alannah McCready music across all platforms. My website's alannahmccready.com. And yeah, I am
making it easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty well. That's my publicist, not me.
You hire people that know more. I get it. I
take credit for that, and they were like, "All your stuff needs to be the same." I'm like, "Sorry,
we got it." Yes,
charge. I just do the music.
yeah. Let me just sing, and you take care of the rest.
I just do the music. I trust you guys with the rest of my life.
Yeah. Good hands. We got that. No, and they've been awesome to deal with too. So you're in good hands, and I wish you nothing but success. I'm going to be personally following you. I hope everybody watching and listening will do the same thing. And you know,
make sure you do, because the EP is going to be out at the end of this year. I'm releasing 5-song EP.
What? I was going to say what's next, and I guess that's it.
I know, something like that is the first song off of the EP.
I love it. You must be pumped.
I'm really excited. They're all being mixed and mastered right now. So,
oh my gosh, I don't even know what that means, but I'm excited for you.
So they're recorded, and
okay,
I recorded them, and now they're with the guys that do the magic.
Sweet.
So I've been getting little snippets of them back, so I'm really excited.
That has to make you so excited, though. Like when you hear that all put together.
I know. And one time, I think I'm gonna do like a life of a song thing, and show where it goes from like recorded as a demo all the way through to the master, just so people
can you please, because that would be very informative for me, like to understand the process.
Yeah, I forget that people don't realize like that when you record something, it doesn't automatically sound like what you hear on the radio. Like it comes so far.
I think that would be amazing, because I'm like, you sang, there's music, there's notes, there's stuff, and I'm like, it sounds awesome. I'm obsessed with it, but I have no idea the process that you go through. It's like training for hockey or any other sport. Like so much behind the scene happens. You didn't become a great goalie just by putting the pads on and stepping in, right?
Yeah, no one sees the tennis balls on the wall.
That's you guys, you goalies, I love you. Awesome. Alannah, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everybody listening loved this as much as I did recording it with you. You're an amazing person, and I knew that from the get-go. Again, mutual friends. Congratulations on your career at university and what you're doing now. We'll be following along. And again, everybody else, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams.